Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Pod by the BAE. I'm your host, Nathan Bond. Join alongside me, Seth Varnadore, Robert Steeg. Guys, we are fresh off one of the more exhilarating comebacks in USF history, and it's not even the biggest one. It's not even the biggest one this season, as your South Florida Bulls rally from a 17-point first-half deficit versus Charlotte to claim sole possession of first place in the American Athletic Conference with a 72-69 win over the Charlotte 49ers. I want to be upfront. I want to be honest. I packed it in. I believe it was after the offensive foul. I think it was Jaden Reed, the Charlotte defender. They had just scored, and the Charlotte defender was slow walking in front of Jaden Reed, and he pushes him, offensive foul. Charlotte gets the ball back. And I was like, all right. I think they were down 15 at that point in the first half. I was like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. They don't have it. And it's fine. Some teams just don't have it on certain nights. They went up against they were going up against a team who was very swaggerful and loud and boisterous. Fake ass Dirk was very involved in the said proceedings, and I was scrolling Instagram Reels. I don't have TikToks. I was seeing things from TikTok from like a month ago, as they finally entered Instagram Reels, and I saw USF chipped away again. They got it within 5 with 104 left, I believe, or 56 seconds. One of the two, and USF calls a timeout, and I'm almost positive it was the use it or lose it timeout of the first half, and I was beside myself. Just following along on the ESPN app because of what USF was able to do, chipping a 17-point deficit just to a 5-point deficit. Why are you calling a timeout, letting Charlotte regroup, catch their breath? Obviously, Charlotte goes down, hits a 3, block, alley-oop, down 10 at halftime. I was like, all right, seriously, I'm out. And I go to sleep. Around 3:45 in the morning, my son has a bottle of water in his hand and is shaking it in my face saying, open it, I'm thirsty. So meanwhile, I'm like that haze of like, I opened the bottle of water, gave it to him, closed it, and I was thinking about the game. I was like, fake ass Dirk probably went 11 of 12 from 3. USF got blown out by 30, whatever. Check the app, 72-69. I was pleasantly surprised. Now, I didn't go to sleep for like another hour and 15 minutes because I was scrolling the Discord. I was scrolling Twitter. I was doing everything, catching up, enjoying, basking in the glow of that game. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to watch the second half. And then I looked at, okay, well, USF was still down 13 with 11:41 left. I'm not going to watch the first 9 minutes of the second half. That's pointless. So I watched basically from when Charlotte scored only 6 points, the last 11:41 of the game on. So that was nice. Seth, Steve, you guys watched it live. How was it in real time?
Yeah, I mean, I watched from the opening tip till the final, or maybe not the opening tip because it might have the previous game ran a little long, but basically from the beginning of the game to the final. Some of us are just built different that way. That we just power through. It felt like what is the saying in soccer? It's like a smash and grab. What is it? The smash and grab job? Is that what is that the saying? Where you kind of like, it's like when you're like you stole the game, like you smashed the window, grabbed the stuff, and left. It was a game that was every time they seemed to make a run, Charlotte would kind of respond, and you're just like, okay, it's just going to be one of those nights where they got down early, couldn't quite get it figured out. But hey, man, at the end they kind of buckled down.
No, you're right. It is a smash and grab. Yeah, where you basically show no pulse. Yeah, right. The EPL Sunday morning power. You basically, like in soccer's terms, like for 85 minutes, you put up like one shot, you have like 10% possession, you're just reeling the entire time, and then you get one breakaway. It's your second shot on goal the entire game, and it just so happens to find the back of the net. Which, by the way, those are the absolute worst games to watch because you see it coming, you feel it coming the entire time. And that was very similar to how I was feeling with about 12 minutes left when Charlotte was up by 13. I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, we've been here before. This is a very odd, not great, but very familiar feeling. Someone posted the graph, and Seth, I'll try to see if I can find it for you. The graph of every team that we have played so far that we have had this incredible come from behind victory. It's always like 99.1% chance of victory for the opposition up until whatever point, 11 minutes left, 7 minutes left, whatever it is. And that graph just goes right to USF every time. I mean, I don't want to say it was fun because it ended up being fun, but like for about an hour and 20 minutes, it was not fun. The way that Charlotte plays, not fun. Not a fun team to play against. And all credit to Charlotte's coach, Charlotte's interim head coach. They perfected the choke. Yes, this one. The choke, the suffocate, getting an extra 5 seconds on the shot clock. But I have something to say about that shot clock here in a minute. But yeah, this not our heart rate during the game. These are live looks at the win probability on ESPN every come from behind victory so far.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see there's the Rice game, there's the Temple game, there's the Memphis
that
game,
one's ridiculous,
and the Charlotte game. So it's got winning, like the high winning percentages of the opponent. So Rice at one point had a 91% win expectancy, Temple 91.8%, Memphis 99%. And Charlotte 97.7%. About when you started looking at where you started watching back from with 12 minutes and 23 seconds left in the second half.
Yeah. It was kind of remarkable. The thing watching it back, I watched it back right before we started recording here tonight. The thing that nearly killed, like if I didn't know the outcome of the game, the thing that would have killed me was the 3 straight offensive rebounds with like about 10:30 left. And USF went scoreless. I knew what happened at the end of the game, right? And I was still so angry. I was like, "What the hell? How do you get 3 offensive rebounds and don't score?" And this team is something else. They are #built different. The last 11:41 of the game, USF went on a 24-6 run to close out that game. All right. Charlotte was held scoreless for the last 5 minutes and 7 seconds of the game. And it was just a masterclass of my personal favorite play was the Charlotte offensive player going cross court and it sailing into the third row of the stands. That was a fun one. That's when you kind of started to see, okay, there's some nerves here from the 49ers players. And man, this team, the team is just, they're finding different ways to win. What was interesting to me looking back, I kind of jotted this down when I was taking some notes. Kason Pryor, who has been probably the engine, some would say over a lot of these clutch wins for the Bulls over the last couple of weeks. He played 14 minutes. He was subbed out at 15:13 left in the second half. Did not re-enter the game, and USF during that time span was plus 14. They went on a 28-14 run the last 13 of the game to end up winning the game. You're like, this is just serendipitous. Like, you're pushing the right buttons. Like, you're one of your stars. You just leave on the bench because, hey, man, not your night. Bad matchup. Charlotte's much bigger. You got to play Corey Walker, who, like we mentioned in the preview on Monday, has been phenomenal over the last few games, and he carried that over to Tuesday night. I don't know. I kind of beside myself, kind of watching this game and seeing the reaction to everything. Steve, what was in the moment? Was there a specific moment during the game that kind of clicked? Like, hey, all right, we're gonna be fine.
Like, man, there's a few moments that kind of come to mind. There were times where they brought it within like I'm re-looking at the play-by-play when they brought it back to within 4 at the 6:51 mark. Chris Youngblood hit a jumper, 63-59. I was like, okay, we're fine. Charlotte at that point had gone kind of cold for the most part from field goal. Like they were hitting free throws, but they weren't having efficient trips to on their drives and everything like that. So I was feeling really good about that. And or hit a transition 3 to go back up 7 points. And I was like, oh, we're done. Like the superstar on their team is about to take over. He shushes the crowd. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Good night. Have a good one. Sorry, guys. They fought, to the bitter end and everything like that. But the real moment, and it has been talked about, and underrated moment, I'm glad it's getting the airwaves that it has. When Jaden Reed pickpocketed the Charlotte player coming up, who, I mean, you knew what he was going to do. That guy was going to turn his shoulder and just sit there for 10 seconds and not let the clock drain for a little bit. There was, I think, like a minute left, and USF was down 4. You knew what was going to happen in that instance. But Jaden Reed, some way, somehow, Brooklyn ball, pickpockets him, steals, layup. Now it's a 1-point game. That was the moment I knew we were going to win. It took up until a minute and 12 was on the clock, and I knew at that point Charlotte wasn't going to hit another basket because defensively they were stifling that 5 minutes. All it took was just one opportunity, and God bless him, Brandon Stroud failed it and redeemed himself in the same 25 seconds. Just that instance was just such an emotional roller coaster from top to bottom. To get a flagrant one, yeah. You're like, this is the best day ever, and then he misses both. You're like, this is the worst day ever, and they leave him alone, and then he just, oh my God, I'm so happy for him. Like, first off, that was because God bless him, he lost that game and he missed those 2 free throws. I wouldn't suit back up. I'd be like, yeah, I'm cooked. Sorry, coach.
Another good moment is when the announcer kept saying they needed to push the ball inside, and then USF hit back-to-back threes. That was another fun one. Just I'm looking back at those graphs. Somebody needs to recreate these in Roller Coaster Tycoon. That'd be pretty good.
I'm pretty sure you'd kill all the guests, but that would definitely help the population problem in Roller Coaster Tycoon, where I think you'd only have 200 people in the park or something like that.
Yeah,
you gotta get rid of them.
Anybody else do the shuttle loop up and then build the land up and put a cactus on it and speed up the roller coaster so it hits the cactus?
I try to make my theme park fun.
We didn't actually play. We're not nerds. I'm not a nerd. I didn't actually play.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, me neither. I was just kidding. Probably absolutely bearing the lead. Selton Miguel, 22 points, 13 to 14 from the charity stripe. The guy was clutch altogether. The 3-pointer that Jaden Reed hit right after Milicic hit his 3 to go up 7 late in the second half was off of a drive from Selton Miguel where he dished it to Brandon Stroud in the corner, who swings at Jaden Reed, hits a 3, semi-contested to kind of stifle Charlotte's momentum, get the crowd back into it a little bit more, and then the next couple of plays kind of change the game. It's crazy to me that in year one this is happening, right? 15-5, 8 straight wins. You're first in the conference right now. You're guaranteed to not have a losing record in conference play for the first time in 12 years, which is downright remarkable and unfathomable to comprehend that a team has been this bad for so long. And you see the support that this program will get when there's a winner. And you just got to be consistent with it, right? Like even the CBI team in 2018, 2019, there were fans there. But you need to be able to sustain it. And I'm not naive enough to believe that, AAR is not he's going to be a hot coaching commodity. Like there's no doubt in my mind. If he stays, who freaking knows? There's going to be enough good jobs open down the line. Like if Louisville keeps Homeboy, I don't know what they're doing. Like it doesn't make any sense if they keep him. He wins at every level, turns around programs. But for now, man, this is fun. God bless this. Seth, we even got you into basketball.
Yeah, I was not interested in watching rock fights. So like when I'm looking, a couple years ago, it's the worst 3-point shooting team of all time. I was like, I'll pass. I won't watch that. But yeah, this is fun to watch. Team's really tough, really resilient, which is kind of fun to watch because, especially with how basketball is played now, the 20-point leads aren't what they used to be. And I think we've seen that just with, it's really if one team gets hot from three and the other one goes cold, those games can go the other way in a hurry. So, and with a team that's got that kind of attitude to not quit, they've been a lot of fun to watch. So, and I think one thing that you kind of talked about, a little bit of excitement, really good crowd for the game. We had a bunch of people in the Discord that were there. They said it was awesome. I was nervous. It wasn't the disappointing thing for me wasn't as much early when it looked like it could get out of hand. It wasn't so much that the game was turning into a blowout. It's like you finally got people invested a little bit. And then it looked like it was going to be Nick, friend of the show, Nick Simon, Blog Boy Roundtable member Nick Simon, has said, I think it was about AAR, but he talked about Jeff Scott previously with, killing the town, using a wrestling term, killing the town. That's when you go in and do something so bad that nobody wants to come back again. It wouldn't have been a killing the town moment, but it would have really hurt, I think, a lot of the momentum they built. If you get this huge game, you get the crowd there, and then they get waxed on national TV. But, now you're building towards a really big game coming up in the next couple weeks?
February 18th at home. It's a Sunday nooner on ESPN versus Florida Atlantic. Now, you can't crap the bed over the next two games. Saturday at Rice, February 10th at 3 p.m. And then on Valentine's Day, I am sure wives and girlfriends will love that.
Going to see Tulsa.
Let's go see Tulsa.
Babe.
Or honey, we can't do anything. The Bulls are on ESPNU. I can't leave. So, just don't trip over yourselves these next two games. And that game has uber stakes attached to it.
Oh yeah.
Honey, what's wrong? You've hardly touched your case in French fryer.
Something interesting listening to AAR's post game was there was and people talked about in the first half how heated Coach Amir was getting at the refs for some of the calls, and he made a mention that the players I think it was either some combination of Brandon Stroud or Chris Youngblood or something else. Someone basically was like, "Coach, you need to calm down." Telling your coach, "You need to calm down. We've got this," kind of thing. That calm demeanor that we talked about that Coach Amir has consistently preached it to this team, you're now kind of seeing why we've been mentioning it so often, is because it's not just about him being calm. It's about the effect that it has on his team, and they're able to recognize, okay, we need to reel this back in. Like if Casey Pryor gets a little hot, with some of the calls, brings him to the sideline, reels him in, and says, "We're good. We got this. Next play, we're good." Same thing for the other side. Amir even made a funny story about how if he ever acts out of line or anything like that during a game, his mom calls him and just is like, "Boy, you are not too old for me to chew your ass out." His mother calls him to tell him to he needs to keep his shit in a row. That's fantastic to hear about this team. Like, the more and more that we're hearing about this team off the court, the more I'm falling in love with everything that they do. From how they practice, from how Amir has been giving coffee to students for these things. We need a Coach Amir Abdul Rahim poster in the Starbucks on campus to preach hey, you get your coffee, come to a game. That's his thing. Get some Starbucks at the England Center. It's fun.
It was fun.
So, do we want to talk about what happened to women's basketball?
They poo-pooed the bed. We can talk about it. We probably should give 5 minutes to talk about them, right?
That seems too long.
I got a serious question.
Yeah.
Do you think that I don't know when the last full moon was before the season, but do you think on the last full moon before the season that AAR and Jose were in different areas and they both said the exact same thing at the same time, and their basketball team's success totally switched like a Freaky Friday? Because that's how it feels. It feels like this is a Freaky Friday season.
Isn't that a Wish Upon a Star? Wish Upon a Star in the DCOM with Katherine Heigl?
It's been done to death, but
Freaky
Friday.
Golly, you got whooped by Rice. You lost by 10 to Grain. That's not ideal. I don't know, man. This team doesn't have it.
No.
I think that's
they sometimes have it, but they don't.
No, they don't. They've never had it. This team, quite frankly, never. They had it for that one game Sammy played, and that was it.
Right. And I hate to kind of because I hate the injury excuse, because Jose's loaded this team talent. There's notwithstanding, they're talented. Most of these girls have been playing on an international level for most of their careers. They just don't have it. They don't have that killer instinct in them. I mean, they were up at one point in this game. I think they were up by 13, and then just let it slip going into the second, tied at halftime. Just couldn't rekindle anything that they had going. And they really have, at any night, 3 girls who score, and then non-contributions from most of the rest of the team. And I understand certain role players have certain responsibilities, and Jose's got a certain coaching style and everything like that, but there needs to be some wholesale changes after this year. And I mean, calling a spade, we'd be doing the same thing with football. We'd be doing the same thing with basketball. There are some girls who have not lived up to the expectations that they either came in with or had shown previously. And that's the problem right now, is that you're getting great contributions out of 2 newcomers, technically 3 newcomers right now. And the rest of these girls that were recruited here out of high school, out of international play and everything like that overseas, are just not living up to what they should be doing right now. And I think you're kind of seeing the reason why Jose went after Amy Thompson from Minnesota as hard as he did to get her to commit here is because, and to a point, at some point, the finesse and fun and everything like that you see in Europe and the style of play there, it translates when you can hit shots. Yep. And when there's someone that can consistently score, and they don't have that. And so what ends up happening is you're just having to give it to your true freshman, Vicky Blasi, who is phenomenal, hit back-to-back threes to try to crawl USF back into this game. But there's no one else supporting her. She gets double teamed basically because there's no one else that can threaten to score on the outside. And that's their problem. No one else can threaten to score from the outside. So you cover the one girl that can, and it's cooked. I mean, thankfully for them, I mean, at least the rest of the year, they play some of the teams that aren't playing their expectations. So there's a chance they'll get to like 18 wins. But, man, I mean, they still have to play ECU at ECU. They still have to play Tulsa at Tulsa. They have to play at SMU. It's just it's not, and that's fine. You know, the host built up enough of a reputation with USF women's basketball that it's fine. They're having an off year. There's still 5 games over 500. There's still over 500 in conference play. It's fine. Let them get to the offseason. Let the season mercifully end.
Yep.
Please.
Can I throw out a couple shooting numbers from this game for you?
Oh God, is it the 12 of 41?
No. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is the 12 of 41.
Yeah, Vicky and Rami Levy combined to shoot 12 of 41 on the night. And he doesn't trust anybody on his bench, and it's hard to win like that. But on a lighter note, you know who is living up to expectations? USF Women's Golf. Cruising to a first-place finish in the FAU Invitational, Paradise Invitational. Melanie Green continues to plant herself as the best women's golfer in program history. Finishes first. She's ranked 25th in the country. She finished 6 under par. The team as a whole finished 7 under. Second place, Denver, finished 3 under par. They were the only 2 teams to finish under par for the tournament. What head coach Erica Brennan has done for this program, I mean, I noticed it when she got hired that there was a difference with the program, and it's just continued to improve. And the fact that she was able to keep Melanie here when she is by far one of the best golfers in the country is a testament to what the culture of the program is. And no shade to women's tennis, but it'd be like if women's tennis was able to keep Sierra Berry. Like that's what they were able to. That's what women's golf was able to do with Melanie Green, keeping her in Tampa for her senior year. They're gonna go places. Like, this is a tournament team. They could absolutely get the match play. I'm excited for what the future holds.
Yeah.
5th win under head coach Erica Brennan in 6 years. This team has been it's been really fun to watch because men's golf has kind of carried the country club sports for quite a while, and to see now women's golf kind of also taking charge, it's going to be nice.
Oh yeah.
And I think they had 2. Yeah, the tennis came back from came back against what, Stetson 4-3. It was 5-5 in the final set, and they broke them. I'm almost positive.
Yeah,
blew a 5-3 lead, but still won.
Very weird situation. I started watching because I was like, pivotal, third set on court 6. These are my favorite matchups. The Stetson girl feigned an injury, I think, and they had a 5-minute timeout, and then this is when she was down 4-3 and just getting worked, and then they taped up her ankle, and then she came back and won the next 2 sets after that. And yeah, it was wild.
Okay.
Good win.
Sure. Quickly on women's golf, their next match is February 25th, 26th, the Westbrook Invitational in Arizona. For some reason, it looks like Wisconsin is the host of that. Sure. Okay. Whatever, dude. I guess
They're down there probably.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you can't golf in Wisconsin in February, so I get it.
No.
But good start by them. 2 other girls finished in the top 10 as well for women's golf in this tournament. Let me actually get you the names real quick because they deserve
Lineros.
praise. Yes, and here it is. Yeah.
That's some great merch, by the way.
Lenore Medeiros finished tied for 6th with a 3 under?
2 under.
2 under. I was trying to. Melanie was 7, 6.
6 under.
6. So I was trying to do the quick math. And then Azalea Vidal also finished tied for 6th at 2 under as well. Good stuff. All 5 golfers finished in the top 35, which is that'll lead to some success for your team. Now, some would think that we are skirting around it or doing other things, but we felt pre-show making sure that we discussed men's basketball and what they were able to accomplish was priority. However, it was quote unquote National Signing Day for your USF football team. There were a few more signees, a transfer. Steeg, I'm going to let you take over and discuss some of the guys who entered the realm of USF football.
Yeah, it kind of fun the National Signing Day now that it's all wrapped up basically prior to today. But yeah, so USF ended with 5 additional signatures. I guess I don't know how to discern these anymore. We'll start from the probably one that people were kind of waiting on last time. Dylan Platt from Venice High School, cornerback, star. Didn't sign in the early signing period. Signed here. All's good there. We're all fine. We were told that Damian Gill was not going to sign with USF. You can do with that what you will. James Chenault signed with USF. He was a late addition to the class. He is, again, a 3-star cornerback. He's from Jones High School in Orlando. A great little signing there. Transfer-wise, they announced Langston Lex Long. He is a linebacker from Virginia. A lot of experience there. Should help out with the depth and maybe even fight for a starting role at times. Weird tweener, size-wise. Played between like linebacker and free safety throughout his time. So definitely want to watch it. And the surprise, if you were not in the Discord, was Cameron Campbell signed with USF from Tampa Bay Tech. A 3-star corner as well. So that put USF with 3-star corners signing today. You could see where the issues were with the team last year. He is the highest rated corner that USF got. He was previously committed to Michigan State. And I mean, had every offer you could think of when you commit to a Big Ten school like that. So a great last minute addition to the class. And then a handful of walk-ons that I want to give them their time and their praise and everything, but I also don't want the thing to go on for like 3 hours. But yeah, overall, the class ended up back in the top 50. They're at 48th on 247 as it currently stands. The average, I think, is like second. The average recruit ranking is like second in the conference or something like that, behind I think UTSA, since they got like a 5-star transfer from LSU. But overall, this is the best group of 5 recruiting class in the last like 5 years. It's one of the best since the Houston Ed Oliver class that, again, they had a 5-star commit out of high school that was like numbered like 15 overall in the country. So Great class. This was all wrapped up well beforehand. Most of these guys are already on campus practicing and conditioning and have fun with the team.
Real quick, looking at the composite rankings, there, Steegbert. It looks like it. Yeah, UTSA 85. Nope, USF even composite ranking. USF has the highest rated class in the American Athletic Conference. 85.4. I don't know. I don't know. It says 28 commits. 28. I'm looking at recruit AAC football team rankings.
Yeah, you go and click recruit, and then you go overall. Yeah.
Why would I do that? That's stupid.
Yeah, seriously, that's another clip. And it's mostly because like DeMarco Augustin and Brent Austin, our two transfer deans back from James Madison and Youngstown State, aren't ranked, and so they are automatically placed at a 0-star.
There's, I mean, in the composite, they got the number one average.
Yeah. Just as a quick aside, 247 needs to get a Navy writer because 16 commits is not right. Go to Rivals if you want true Navy. They got like 84. Like they have a full roster. Just be mindful of that. The rankings, like the overall ratings, were probably the same, but only 16 commits is insane. They need a dedicated 247 writer, but that's for another podcast all entirely. But all's well that ends well. I do love. I was listening to Golesh's press conference today on the way home from work, and he was talking about proof of concept. We've discussed this ad nauseum. He said, we have proof of concept with the offensive guys. Hey, this is the routes that you can run. This is who's going to be throwing you the ball. This is who you're going to be blocking for. This is who's going to be blocking for you. And then he flipped it to the defensive side. He's like, well, here's the scheme, and you see the deficiencies. Can't you imagine you in that position and how many plays you'd make? And I mean, if that ain't brutal honesty, and how guys recruit players, I don't know. I don't know what is. I got a chuckle out of that bit of honesty from head coach Alex Golesh. Is probably he's sleep deprived from being at the basketball game and wrapping up signing days. He just kind of let that one go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is a thing, in recruiting.
Absolutely.
When it's bad, you say, well, don't you think you can make that play? See, here's the idea. Don't you think if you were there, don't you think you could make that play? Because it's not, you can't really sell, hey, look at all these missed tackles, like the guy, that's kind of like, they're in position, right? Like, would you make that tackle? The one thing I thought that jumped out to me when kind of looking at guys they brought in today was kind of that length at corner. Campbell 6'1", Platt 6'3". I think Golesh said Platt's like a corner you'd build in a lab almost. Like he's got the length and and all that stuff you'd like. And then the transfer 6'3", 220. He's a linebacker, but like Steve said, he played a little safety, and he was a safety in high school. So probably an athletic backer. Maybe gives you some flexibility. And so that was kind of, and even Chenault is 6 feet tall, but
yeah, and Rucker from Tennessee is also 6 feet, so that like they
longer corners.
Yeah.
So, and we'll see. I would imagine. I think so. Miami's corners coach left today, right, to go to the Bills. That happened today. Obviously, people are wondering if that would lead to DeMarcus Van Dyke going back to Miami, but we've put in the Discord in a couple spots. He was on the field in 2021 and then got taken off the field in 2022. And then in 2023, he went to FIU, right? Because he was only at FIU for one season, right?
Correct. Right.
So Mario took him off the field, and then he left and went to FIU. Now, maybe it was something where, like, they had really good feelings. You weren't ready. We'll help go to FIU. But I'd imagine he started off the field, worked his way onto the field, was a really good recruiter when he was in the recruiting, was able to go out on the road and recruit. And then you take him back off the field. I'd imagine that could lead, and I don't have any inside info on this, but that could lead to some hard feelings. So I wouldn't be too worried about that. But there is another coach that Miami is apparently taking, and it's not Marcus Van Dyke.
No, it's not. Running backs coach Matt Merritt is heading over to Coral Gables. Interesting. I mean, he was one of the top 40 coaches under 40. He got that from the AFCA. I feel like I left the letter out, but he was one of the top coaches. That's the top assistant coaches under 40. I think it's going to hurt recruiting-wise. I think he was a pretty good recruiter. As a running backs coach,
I think you can find another good recruiter to put at running backs coach.
Yeah. I hear it. Yeah. I mean, there's a guy who – never mind.
Yeah.
But
I think, we've kind of been looking to try to connect the dots and see if there's any – anybody out there maybe that might fit. Nothing really jumps out at us right now. Mm-hmm. I was going to look back. Now, Golesh was for one season a running backs coach himself when he was at Illinois. He kind of did running backs and tight ends. So he knows what he wants there. Yeah. I'm going to go back and look and see if there's anybody kind of – that's the other thing. GA spots don't typically go to running backs coaches. You know what I mean? It's quarterbacks, linemen. The running backs coach is not a spot where you're like, oh, yeah, we had our running back. Typically there might be, but a lot of times they're extra assistant.
I don't think Brett Keene's in line for that.
Yeah, I would. I would think this could be an external hire. They did just bring in another graduate assistant, I think.
Yeah.
Or a quality control guy, but he's a quarterbacks coach, I believe. Now, run it like I said, running backs coach. You can kind of find guys to put there, and they'll be all right. But if you can get a guy that's already coaching, that'd be lovely as well.
Yeah, I think he's gonna dig deep into the Rolodex and pull someone up. I wouldn't be surprised, frankly, at this point, if it's like a high school coach, just because, like, at this point, it's kind of a weird.
Clearwater Academy International just shut down football, so maybe he can jump on staff.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah, they just said they were shutting down football because it was the oddest statement you'll ever read. The statement is
CAI.
Like
wow.
VCAI.
The statement is, we've grown beyond football in Florida. We need a national schedule. Then the next paragraph, we don't have the money to pursue a national schedule, so we're going to shut down football. That was basically the statement.
That's crazy. I did not.
It is bizarre.
Did not.
I'd imagine there's something weird going on there. Like, it just seems so strange to me that you're like, oh, we've got too big for Florida, and then I saw some people saying, oh, they just nobody will schedule them. But then like one of the first responses is somebody going, well, I guess we need a week 4 game now. Like it's. It's not, it's,
there's got to be some accreditation issues or something. Something happened.
It seems strange to me, but
I've understood because they ran, and not to go off a tangent here, they ran like an independent schedule. They're not classified under like FHSAA.
Yeah, because they recruit they do recruit like internationally,
right?
So
and schools stopped playing them. Like Tampa stopped playing them basically. Like they couldn't find anyone to play up against. Because I know Jesse and the rest of that group had been like searching for opponents for the past like 6 months, trying to find someone like from their schedule last year. I think only like one school like agreed to play again. It's a sad situation too, because I mean they helped with like the NFL Academy stuff too.
They're a really good program. I mean, it's also like
they just ended up playing like IMG like 3 times last year.
They played some. So they played some. That's the thing, though. They're not IMG. They're not IMG good. They're not in that stratosphere. I'm looking at their schedule last year. They went 5-5. They played some teams out of state, but yeah. So it is a good program, and they do produce. The thing, they produce a lot of really good players. So from the USF perspective, and it's a lot of international guys. Having all these international guys come there, it's right in your backyard. It's not too hard to get out there and recruit. And I think they had a good relationship with the staff. So that's unfortunate, but who knows? Maybe this is like a leverage play to try to get more. I don't know. It just seemed really weird.
So weird. Wow.
For it to go down like that. So
yeah, that's great. I did not see that at all today. How about that? Well, as we dive into minute 46 of this recording, we are going to get out of here. It's been a fun week. Go beat Rice on Saturday. Don't do anything stupid over the weekend, folks. Quick reminder, Seth and I will be in Orlando this weekend at the Nike Coaches Clinic, the Coach of the Year Clinic with we'll have insights on Seth. You'll get there Friday. There's Mac Brown.
Head coaches.
Mac Brown coach talks on Saturday. Billy Napier, a bunch of head coaches on Friday night, and then on Saturday some USF folks, and then Sunday morning some more USF folks will be talking. We'll be there, full coverage in the Discord. $5 a month gets you access to it. That's where all the information from the Coaches Clinic will be. Make sure you're subscribed. Tell your friends. It's been fun. Being able to do this, being able to afford to do this. We talked about it off air before we started recording. It's something that we weren't able to do a year ago. So this has been a lot of fun.
We'll have
tell your friends.
Andrew Warsaw, who's the chief of staff. We'll be talking on Saturday. And how do we pronounce Gio's last name?
Cordis.
So the head strength coach, USF, is going to be talking about the strength program on Saturday. So that'll be cool. And then on Sunday, Jeff Jones, who was Golesh's high school football coach, is going to be talking. And then Effie Levy, who's the director of player personnel, is going to talk roster management. So there should be some fun tidbits in there. And these are situations that coaches really relax a little bit more in, and you'll get more. You'll get a little bit less of the coach speak in there. Oddly enough, you'll get more like reality, and they'll be honest with you. So these are really fun settings to go to. And then hopefully we can make some connections while we're there, and that'll help us bring even better stuff to you guys. But should be a fun time.
Excited to learn some balls from some great coaches across the board. Former USF player Danny Verpel will be there as well, so excited to talk to him again,
whether he knows it or not.
Friend of the show, Danny Verpel. We talked to him and watched his session a couple years ago, so excited to do that again. With that said, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, check out Amar Jackson did not push off Substack story about men's basketball. Make sure you're checking out the top 10 plays of the USF football season that he's also posting. Phenomenal stuff. Make sure you're checking it out. Tell your friends. With that, go Bulls. Enjoy your weekend.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls.